Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Wtf'S. I'm your host, Sydney Garrett.
And I'm your host, James Dunqua.
Since this is our last episode of WTF for 2018, we will be reviewing the highlights and lowlights of the past year.
This time last year, America was up in arms over tragic events and occurrences such as the Charlottesville white supremacist rally, the Roy Moore situation, and the Me Too movement.
Thankfully, this year was our midterm election year, which means that politicians have been a little bit more careful with how they presented themselves over the past few months, primarily because any crazy or tasteless action could mean losing an election.
The midterm election this year also saw a wave of women in the House, and holy shit, how are there so many more old white men in Senate?
In October of this year, a caravan of migrants left Honduras and headed towards the United States. They will walk 500 miles and 500 more miles.
England's favorite ginger bad boy, Prince Harry, married American actress Meghan Markle in May of this year. Markle's family responded, as is custom for parents of celebrities, by attempting to ruin her life.
In March, it was revealed to the public that Facebook had been selling user data to conservative research and advertising firm Cambridge Analytica. It is still unclear, however, whether Mark Zuckerberg is a robot, an alien, or a Batman movie villain.
The Winter Olympics took place in Pyeongchang in January, sparking a positive dialogue between North and South Korea. Turns out the only things needed to unite the two countries were sports, boy bands, and a mutual disdain for the United States.
This concludes our 2018 recap. Congratulations to everyone for surviving year 2 with the Trump administration. On that note, let's go to our international correspondent, Jack Kessler, for some insight into tensions currently unfolding between Ukraine and Russia.
Off the coast of Crimea, in the waters of the Black Sea, tensions between Russia and Ukraine have escalated and perhaps reached the point of boiling over into full-scale war. The incident in question occurred on the 25th of November when Russian military vessels fired upon and boarded 2 Ukrainian gunboats and a tugboat. Reports say that between 3 to 6 Ukrainian servicemen were injured in the assault, and the Ukrainian government is calling the incident a flagrant violation of international law, citing a 2003 treaty which splits the now disputed waters between the two countries. Moscow accuses Ukraine of illegally entering its sovereign waters and denies that Ukraine gave any warning before it moved the gunboats in. In Ukraine, which has been fighting for years against a Russian-backed separatist forces in the east, the incident has sparked several anti-Russian protests, concentrated around Russian embassies and consulates. Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko has responded to the crisis by holding meetings with various European heads of state, as well as the Supreme Commander of NATO forces in Europe. In an extraordinary measure, President Poroshenko called for a 30-day period of martial law throughout Ukraine, citing the threat of a forthcoming Russian ground invasion. As of 2:32 p.m. on November 26th, the Ukrainian parliament approved the measure. We here at TealTV cannot say how this crisis will play out, due to the fact that the situation is progressing as we speak. We can only hope that both sides can come to a peaceful resolution and avoid needless bloodshed. This is Jack Kessler, signing off.
Well, there you have it, folks. Turns out the U.S. elections aren't the only thing the Russians like to invade.
With that being said, thank you to everyone for tuning in. As always, we hope that your exams go well and your holidays go even better. I'm your host, James Dunqua.
And I'm your host, Sydney Garrett. We'll see you next year.